Yo, it's D.Arthur in the building. I'm talking to you guys today about how semen retention will make you more selfish. They will start to envy you, and how they will start to envy you because you're just becoming more selfish. And when I say selfish, I mean to use that term a little bit lightly, because I mean people think being selfish is a bad thing. But being selfish can actually be a very good thing, because you finally care enough about yourself to want to do the best things for yourself. And it's the bottom line. Like if you keep relapsing consistently, you just don't think of yourself as just enough. You just don't think yourself as of a higher value. So you're gonna give your time to everybody, every single person who wants your time. You're gonna give it to them because you just don't have any priorities. You just don't think that you have enough going on to be that valuable person that you can become, and this just isn't the case. So when you go on seed retention, because like I said, it's finally about you. All of a sudden, it's finally about you. Like you start putting yourself first. You start, anytime there's an event, you start realizing, how is this going to benefit me? You start taking more calculated risks. You start taking more initiative and thinking about, like, how is this going to benefit me? Because you're no longer an everybody person. You're no longer just to please everybody. You have to. I mean, you're starting to please yourself. Like, you have to please yourself in order to really become the person that you really want to be, the most dynamic version of yourself. So you really have to say no to some things. But they don't want you to be like this. They want you to be an everyday person. They want you to say yes to everything. They want you to give your time to every single person, like, even if they don't deserve it, because they want you to be a part of the 95%. They want you to be the part of normal people's everyday lives. They want you to be part of the complainers. They want you to be a part of the people who are not satisfied with the situation but are doing nothing about it. This is what they want you to be. They want you to relapse so you don't have this self-belief in yourself. They want you to, like, be a conformist. They don't want you to read between the lines. They just want you to follow the script, the narrative. But you're becoming a little bit wiser. You're becoming a little bit more bolder. And boldness comes from freedom. An example is, like, if you're bold enough to go talk to a girl that you really are interested to, you're finally gonna find freedom after the interaction, because you're no longer just scared of what she might think. The boldness comes from freedom, and you're just becoming a lot more bolder when you go on to see retention. So also, like, you're definitely not, you don't have as much time for every single body, because you start realizing, how does it make you feel? You're only around people who are living on a higher vibration, or on similar vibrations as you, who have similar mindsets, who have similar ambitions as you. You're becoming more of an empath. You're, like, the way you feel and sense energy is becoming just tenfold. This is another part of your spiritual gifts. So you start to feel the fear in other people. You start to feel the hell-like state that some people are living in. And if people are acting poorly towards you, you start realizing it's because of their internal state. People give out what they feel inside. So if they're feeling rebellious, they're feeling sad, if they're feeling depressed, and they're starting to make you be a part of their reality, you have to realize it's a part of their mental state, their internal state. Because we live in a mirrorverse. Anything that comes in is out, shows out. So, I mean, you just have to be aware of this. And when you go on sea retention, you're also becoming more of an empath. Like I said, you're feeling other people's energies. You're feeling their moods. You're becoming more emotionally intelligent. So the things that other people feel, you're feeling it at a core level, and this might affect you. So that's why you have to protect your energy. You have to protect. You might have to protect the people that you surround yourself with, because not every energy is good energy. Like I said, so when you go on sea retention, you're becoming more selfish in a good way, because your time becomes more valuable, because you're becoming a higher valuable person. Like, let's think about it. Like someone like the president, he's not gonna give his attention to every single person, because he's a high value individual. He has things going on. He has things that he has to do. and you're becoming the same way in a way. Your mannerisms are a little bit the same. You just, whatever you start caring about, you start putting your priorities are becoming just more aligned. You have a better sense of being. You have a better sense of self. So anything that isn't aligned with your highest visions, your highest values, what you really are really passionate about, you really don't make time for it anymore. You're not letting distractions defeat you anymore because you're just becoming a higher valuable person. Because this is what starts to happen. Because your brain starts realizing that you're not really like you're not getting as much. What it starts to do is it transforms your entire being from your entire being from the neck down to your entire being, and everything changes about you. What you pay attention to, what you're interested in, how you're earning an income, everything changes about you because you're literally trying to make yourself the most attractive version of yourself so you can eventually attract a mate. There is a spiritual sense of this as well. Like since you're retaining, and you're, like I said, your body just doesn't seem your brain doesn't think that you're getting any, so it's doing everything in its power to make you more physically attractive, more emotionally attractive, and more attractive in general, so you can finally pull a mate. Because we were put on here to procreate, to replicate. And if you're not filling your role, then things are just not happening for you. So you have to do everything in your power to fill your role. And this is why sleep retention is very important. But if you're consistently relapsing, your body doesn't think that it needs to adjust to anything because you're already getting some. You might be fooling yourself. That's just not the case. So, I mean, if you're consistently relapsing, your body is basically telling yourself that, oh, this man is good. His sexual needs are satisfied, so there's no need for him to change, and that's just not the case. It's just not the case because you're fooling yourself. You're playing with yourself instead of procreating. Like you're playing with yourself instead of procreating, and this is just doing the opposite of what you really need to do. Because the thing is, like, you're supposed to be working towards something. But if you keep on relapsing, then you're just literally living in a circle because you have to restart from day one. You have to build up more courage. The longer you go, the more courage you have. But if you keep relapsing consistently, especially if it's with your hand, then now that all that courage is gone, and now you basically have to re-up, if that makes sense. So also, like, if you're relapsing consistently, you're living for everybody. Every single thing that someone distracts you with, you have to give attention to it. It's about who you give your attention to. They want you to give your attention to every single person, but I mean, that's not what you really need to do. Because if you're giving your attention to every single person, then it doesn't seem like you have any priorities and you don't have any value. Because a man who actually has a high priority in life, he's not giving his attention to every single person. The president of the United States is not giving his attention to every single thing because a lot of the things are just not important. And this is what you start realizing when you go on sleep retention. So, I mean, so like I said, I mean, if you relapse consistently, you have time for every single thing because deep down you just realize that you're not that valuable because of your actions and your behaviors. And because of your actions and behaviors, you're gonna look when you're in the gym or something, you're gonna look at every single person that walks by. If you keep looking around like a squirrel on a road, then you're basically giving off very low value vibes. It's all about giving out honest, high value signals by walking with a purpose, speaking for what you want, looking at people in the eye, being a valuable person. Because there's the bottom line. There's two types of people. There's energy generators, and then energy vampires. Which one are you? When you are in a room, do you lift up the vibration of the room, or are you taking from the vibration of the room with your petty and your mediocre language? So, I mean, you start to gauge who has a place in your life and who doesn't have a place in your life when you go on sleep retention, because your empathy skills are through the roof. You're being your natural empathetic self. And all of these quote-unquote superpowers that you start gaining on sleep retention, they were already gifts that were granted to you. You were just having a void because you kept partaking in bad foods that took away your natural energies. You kept listening to the mediocre news that puts fear in your subconscious, and you're just living all of these. Like I said, all these are all natural gifts that are already naturally yours. It's just that there's a lot of things that people do that make them low value. And when you finally go and see retention, you're finally returning back to your true and authentic self. And this holds a lot of weight in the marketplace because you're someone who has value. You can create enough value for someone to actually be interested in the things that you're giving off, that you're telling people. You're becoming a more interesting person. You're becoming more spiritual aware. You're going through a spiritual awakening. And people find this attractive because you're not like the rest of the people. So, like I said, seed retention can help you, just helps you become more selfish because you finally start figuring the things that you want and the things that you don't want. You might stay up at night and you start deciding the things that you're going to move forward with and the things that you're just going to not move forward with. All of these decisions are based off of how greatly they can impact your life. So, if you thought that video was valuable, like the video, make sure you comment something, and then you make sure you subscribe down below. Also, if you have any questions about metaphysical semen retention or things like that, make sure you're leaving a voice message or a question down below, and I will make sure to over deliver in my response to you. There have been some people who have been doing some questions. So if you really have any questions, like I said, just leave a question below, and I will make sure to over deliver for you guys. Peace.